I have chosen to do my psychology film project on the movie Fargo. The main character of the movie is Jerry Lindegaard. He is a car salesman from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He owes a large sum of money on a fraudulent loan. He is married to Jean Lindegaard and is the father of Scotty Lindegaard. The background of the crime. In order to repay the money on the loan, Jerry travels to Fargo, North Dakota to hire 2 men to kidnap his wife. He then plots to have Jean's father, who is highly affluent, to pay the ransom. Since the kidnapping was a hoax, masterminded by Jerry himself, the majority of the money would fall into his hands, enabling him to improve his finances. I have diagnosed Jerry with antisocial personality disorder. It is considered the most captivating of all personality disorders. Antisocial personality disorder can be recognized with the onset of impulsive, deceptive, violent, ruthless, and callous behaviors. This disorder frequently incites criminal and lawless behavior. The DSM-5 criteria for antisocial personality disorder includes significant impairments in personality functioning manifested by impairments in self-functioning, seen in either identity or self-direction. There are also impairments in interpersonal functioning, seen in empathy or intimacy. We must also see pathological personality traits, defined by the following domains. First, antagonism, which is characterized by manipulativeness, deceitfulness, callousness, and hostility. We must also see disinhibition, which is characterized by irresponsibility, impulsivity, and risk-taking. We see these impairments in Jerry. The character of Jerry is deficient of self-direction for 2 reasons. He bases his goal of financial wealth on self-gain. He disregards the extreme negative impacts of his conspiracy on his wife and child, and looks only at what he will gain. There is also an absence of internal morals or standards within Jerry Lindegaard. This is associated with his failure to conform to lawful and ethical behavior. This is evident in his flawed rationale in believing it is not unethical to have his own wife kidnapped in order to receive a heavy ransom from his father-in-law. Jerry Lindegaard is also deficient of interpersonal functioning. He expresses very minimal empathy for what he has inflicted upon his wife and child. He exemplifies zero remorse over his wife's death, nor the deaths of those who were collateral damage from his conspiracy. There is also evidence of pathological personality traits within Jerry. First, we see antagonism. Antagonism can be seen because of Jerry's deceitfulness. He uses dishonesty and fraudulence throughout the entire film as he attempts to cover up his crime. We also see callousness. Jerry lacks the ability to feel guilt or remorse for the repercussions of his crime on others. Third, we see hostility. Jerry expresses significant aggression and vengeance towards his wife, and particularly his father-in-law. We also see disinhibition. This is characterized by irresponsibility. Jerry has a serious disregard for financial security, which spurs his idea to have his own wife kidnapped. We also see his impulsivity and risk-taking. Jerry takes an obvious risk in having his own wife kidnapped. It is evident he has not evaluated the consequences of his crime. Except there is one missing symptom which detects antisocial personality disorder. There must be a lack of intimacy. Jerry does not lack this element of the criteria. The DSM-5 defines an impairment of intimacy as the incapacity for mutually intimate relationships and the use of dominance or intimidation to control others. The character of Jerry does not embody this symptom. In fact, his character reflects the polar opposite of authoritativeness or intimidation. Treatment of antisocial personality disorder. Jerry Lindegaard has 3 options of treatment: cognitive therapy, medication, or counseling. In Jerry's case, both cognitive therapy and counseling will most likely yield better results. This is the case for 2 reasons. First, there is not one single drug that can be specifically target all symptoms of antisocial personality disorder. Therefore, treatment using medication would not alleviate the quantity of symptoms that cognitive therapy could. Secondly, using medication as a form of treatment only targets the issue at hand. It does not permeate deep enough to reverse the disorder. With lengthy cognitive therapy and counseling, Jerry's character could potentially see long-term improvements. Nevertheless, it is highly unlikely for Jerry to be entirely cured from the disorder. This treatment plan does not encourage any form of harm towards Jerry's character. Therefore, it is not constituted as an unethical form of treatment. Overall, Fargo depicts a character who very closely matches that criteria for an individual with antisocial personality disorder. Jerry's aggression, egocentrism, lack of remorse, deception, and impulsivity are the most prominent symptoms of the disorder. Glancing at the face value of this film, we can see the dangers of personality disorders. Yet there is a different way this film can be viewed. Instead of placing blame entirely on the individual who has the disorder, we can alleviate the circumstances of the individual's upbringing. Research performed on the murderers identified factors such as coming from abusive households, having at least one disorder, and having suffered injury to the head or brain as factors which can exacerbate the likelihood of developing a psychological disorder. Overall, this brings to light, in a rather comic way, the gravity of personality disorders.